In John 6, we read, "When evening came, Jesus' disciples went down to the lake. They got into a boat and were crossing the lake to Capernaum. It was already getting dark, and Jesus hadn't come to them yet. The water was getting rough because a strong wind was blowing. When the wind had driven them out for about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the water. He was approaching the boat, and they were afraid. He said to them, 'I am. Don't be afraid.' Then they wanted to take him into the boat, and just then the boat reached the land where they had been heading." I don't like storms. I am a California girl. I grew up with very few storms. Every year we might have a handful of storms with thunder and lightning, maybe, and I didn't like them then. But then I moved to Indiana where they were much more common. Whether it was just your average thunder and lightning storm, which was bad enough for me, or there would be the ones where the wind kicked up and damage would happen even. I would be the first one down in the basement. I didn't like storms in Indiana, and I still don't like storms. And then what makes it worse, I get seasick. Now, most of the time in Indiana, I didn't have to worry about that. But if I get into a boat, there's a good chance that I can get seasick. So I can't even imagine being with the disciples on that lake in a boat and the wind kicking up and the storms hitting and the way getting rough. I would imagine I would have been the green disciple in the bottom of the boat, wanting to be on the shore as fast as possible. And then they saw Jesus, but they saw Jesus walking on water. And it says that they were afraid. And now think about it. They probably thought he was a ghost, because it's more likely that you would see a ghost than you would see a person walking on water. And they were afraid. Like, what is this? Why would we see a ghost? And even if they recognized him as Jesus, it would be really frightening, along with the storm and the rough water. But Jesus calls out to them and he says, "I am." And then he said, "Do not be afraid." I am. Those are the words that we think of when we think of God. Those are the words used for God. God uses those for God's self. And so Jesus identifies himself as I am. And he says, "Do not be afraid." I am. I am the one who created the wind and the rain and the water and the land. I am the one who created you. I was around from the very beginning. Don't be afraid. Storms don't bother me. I think about the storms of my life, not necessarily the ones where it's just thunder and lightning, although there have been a few of those. But the storms, the upsets, the things that cause me to be afraid in my life, cause me to be upset or cause me to worry. I need to listen to the voice of the one who is I am. As I listen to that voice, may I find the peace that I need to find, where the storm just ends and I'm on solid ground again. May you find in the one who calls himself I am the peace in the storm. Amen.